Hello.
Hello, everybody.
How is everybody? I hope you are very, very well. We have already got a couple of comments in here. We've got Tony Candy. Hi, Tony. Mozama. What's up? Thank you for your comments already. How's your week been, Paul?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. It's like we were just talking about a minute ago. It's just a bit crazy, and it doesn't seem to look like it's slowing down. I've seen my first rebooking today from the first week, so it's just it's going to be gearing up to all that now. I think 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, be rebooking, and then we'll go around in circles. I think. What about you?
Round in circles. Yeah, no, good week, mate. Yeah, I had to cancel someone this afternoon. She's been waiting 9 months for a haircut, basically, because my little boy got taken to hospital. But that was a bit annoying. But I've subsequently spoke to her via text, and she's fine about it. But I mean, getting people back in now is just a drama, because obviously this diary is absolutely heaving. I mean, people are waiting months on top of months to get their first appointment. Some of them are people that I've done in the last day or so, had been waiting from the minute they could book an appointment, so they've had to wait 8 weeks to get their first appointment back. So that's been a bit crazy. And then I was just saying to Paul, actually, my Saturdays I only do 2 a month, but they're like October time before anyone can get a Saturday now. So I feel really for the clients that are that are trying to get their hair done. I mean, obviously they can go somewhere else, that's that's completely fine, but I'd still like to do their hair. I really like all my clients. It's just limited numbers, and I'm only there 4 days a week, really. It's been a bit crazy. I mean, so it's interesting. I mean, like you say, just got to go with the flow, mate. We've got Debbie in the house. Thanks, Debbie, for joining us. Christos, as always. Jackie, thanks for joining us. Lisa, Angela, Karen J. We've got the absolute die-hard regulars in the house right now. Thank you for joining us. As always, we massively appreciate your presence. Messages of support, comments on our videos, they are all really helpful. And you guys entering doing all the things that we put into our community post to win the Hot Tools tongue. We've got Tina Cameron with us. Hi, Tina. Thanks for joining us. So just quickly talk about that before we kind of roll into tonight's Q&A session. Paul and myself will be running a monthly giveaway. This time we will be giving away Paul has a Hot Tools styling tongue. And if you want to enter into that, then please do go over to Paul and I's community tab on our YouTube channel. Either one of us have got the same post up, and there's all the ways that you can enter into that specific competition to win or to be put into the prize draw that we will draw live in one of our Wednesday night live events that we will then send out to you, and we will find something different to give away the next month, and it'll just roll on like that until we well, it'll just roll on. I don't think there's any stopping it.
No, I think it's going to be good, because what we were saying, wasn't it? We want to help upgrade your kit bags, your tool bags. If you are a student, we know there's a few of you who are learning hairdressing. If we can give you a level up as such as leveling up your tools to get you, that's what we want to do. And the guys that are more well-established stylists, if we can help in any way and just giving you a new sort of tool or something,
then that hairspray coated tongue of yours for something. Yeah, not everybody's is like that, but I've definitely seen some pretty hairsprayed up tongues in the past. Hi, Jess. How are you? Hope you're well.
Jess is here. Well, she's not
Jess
here.
is in the
She's
house.
here somewhere.
She's in the
But yeah,
house, literally,
and
in
yeah,
Paul's house. Lisa Lewis, thank you very much, Lisa, throwing out the hearts there. So yeah, tonight is going to be a Q&A. Now, I did a poll on my community tab that some of you guys had thrown up some comments. I will run over there now to see what you guys said. Actually, the primary one was where are we at? Okay, here it was. Hair color. So the choices were open, all things hair, talking all open chat, all things hair, 28%, hair color 46%, haircuts 20%, and salon business 6%. 167 people voted. 10% of people liked it. Hello, Paul's dad. Our day's out. Good evening. I love your dad's glasses there. He's looking a bit madness, you know, like madness.
yeah.
You call it madness. Yeah,
He's
love
been
it.
out filming for their obviously Our Days Out channel. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was filming the yesterday actually. Yeah, so they'll be getting another video out this week sometime, which is
good
nice.
stuff.
Nice to see them
So
doing
I
what
need
they
to look.
do.
I need to look it up. Actually, I feel like I need to see this channel.
Yeah, you do, mate. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Kerry's
do. I
just
just keep
jumped
forgetting
in.
to look at it. Yeah, I keep forgetting to look at it.
Hey,
Hi,
Kerry.
Kerry. Thanks very much. I've got a client. She's her wife's got a YouTube channel, and I've done her a couple of times now. And it's only now that I've actually subscribed to their channel. I mean, she's got 197,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So I mean, yeah, she's pretty serious. Here's the cat. For everybody that's seen my cat before, here she is. She's a Maine Coon. For anybody that wants to know. But she's just come from under the bed, so I didn't know she was here. So she's joined us ad hoc. So I mean, look, I'll tell you what. I'm going to kick this off with. It's been predominantly, obviously, a color conversation. We'd love to know if you've got any color questions for us, but I'm going to kick this off between Paul and I, really, and you guys chip in as you feel necessary. What are you know, blonde clients heavily highlighted, right, from previous, that have got anything from, you know, 6 to 9 inches of root, and they want to go back to that kind of heavy blonde effect that they had before. You were doing highlights previously on them, but you know, if you go in and do a normal set of highlights now, there's going to look like two separate, you know, because it's just not the buildup of color that you had previously in the hair. So what are you doing about that, Paul? What is your way of tackling that?
I was too busy clicking the comments then, but
oh, we got Suzanne in the house. Hi, Suzanne. Good to have you with us.
Tracy.
And we've got Tracy in the house. Hi, Tracy. We've got Tony. Anyone there? And then oh yeah, Tony saying hello to your mum. That's nice. Nice, Tony. I like that. Yeah, so you've got 6 to 9 inches of root. They're really blonde, built up on the ends. They want to go back to what they had previously, a really blonde effect. But the reason that they were that blonde is because the color had built up and they got used to being blonder and blonder and blonder. And if you do what you've always done, they're going to look like they've got two different colors. They've got their root highlights, and then they've got this blonde through the ends. They don't want that effect. What's the way that you're tackling that without booking out 2 hours for the foils?
Well, what for foils? Are we doing foils? We're doing a full head.
Foils for now. We'll talk about foils, not long bleach applications, because I think long bleach application. Well, we'll go into that in a minute, but you know, what's your foiling? You know, because obviously, you know, you've really got to pack them in if they're very heavily highlighted through the end, almost you know, a block blonde color because of the build up, you know, of highlights from previous, and they've got blonder and blonder and blonder. They've enjoyed being that blonde, but then obviously they've been forced to grow it out for a very long time. What would be your kind of approach? You know, because obviously sometimes, you know, the clients don't want to pay double, you know, for their first appointment back, because it's going to take 2 hours to emulate basically 2 sets of foils on one application. So do you have any tips or tricks to get around that? Because I know I can imagine that there's people out there that are seeing that and they're kind of suffering a little bit. I know that you mentioned, Paul, when we were talking on Sunday on our Clubhouse get together about people's expectations being unrealistic and stuff like that. Post lockdown. So what are your tips and tricks, mate?
Well, I had one today actually, foils, and it wasn't as such the 6 inches of route. It was, but she lives quite far away from the salon. She tried a different salon where she lives, and they made the mistake in which they just did a normal set of highlights, left her 6 inches length to ends, really blonde, and she had this sort of greeny sort of color in between where they were trying to neutralize warmth, trying to make it still cool. So today I basically had 6 inches of regrowth, but I had this really unflattering blonde in between plus her natural. So today what I did with that client was, I just did a full head of highlights. What they also did as well, and I'm not belittling anybody's work. It was just completely different to what I normally do. My client wanted to get what I did, but closer to where she lives. They put a demi color underneath to make it all dark, so they could just tone it all down. But what she wanted was to be really blonde. So they made it all dark underneath, and then they did a half head of foils only on the regrowth. They left the underneath dark. They had this band of blonde, and then they had this greeny sort of esque blonde around the fresh regrowth. So she messaged me and she said, it's nothing like you did, so I'm going to come back. She just thought I'll go somewhere because I'm so far away from her. She came in today. I had a look at it. So I had a real big task on my hand. Like I've said previous, I'm a really quick foiler, and I did it within the hour. So what I did through the whole brown underneath, I just did basically breaking up highlights. So just normal weave, but then I also put in some bigger slices to get the coverage. And then when working through the half head that they'd already done, that I had to be careful of not to overlap, but also try and remove all the green. I just did some baby lights and some average weave, and just went through it as normal, mate. To be honest, and I've got some little boomerang videos I'm going to put on because I'm trying out shorts at the minute on YouTube, just sort of seeing how they go, and on TikTok. I've started doing quite a bit of TikTok, and I'm going to put them up there. The color was unbelievable. But when it comes to what you said, if you've got somebody with virgin 6 inches, what I would do is I would work on sort of breaking down that 6 inches of oversaturated blonde with potentially some demi low lights just to break it up. And then working through the 6 inches of fresh virgin hair, I would then work your lightener, your bleach through it. And then in between, I would then be sandwiching or back-to-back foiling just some of the low lights to break up, to make it a little bit more lived in, a little bit more natural, rather than having to create that whole look again. And like James said, on Sunday night, I was talking about client satisfaction, basically. We're having to have these not uncomfortable conversations, just an honest conversation about, look, it's been 4.5 months. We're not magicians. We've got such a big task on at the minute trying to create what we used to have. When we're thinking about the keratinization of the hair sort of hardening off, we're having to work through these different areas of hair color with different levels of peroxide, different weave techniques. So, yeah, I mean, I've just been going in, trying in the bulk of the hair to use some thicker weaves, and then around the hairline, the partings, going in more prescriptive, I suppose, making sure that we get the bulk of the hair all as blonde as we can with breaking up the existing blonde, and then around the hairlines and partings, maybe a mix of average and baby lights to have that grow out a little bit more.
Sounds good, mate. Your sister said hi, guys, from her, Liam and Libby. I hope you're doing well with the baby.
Yeah, they're good.
Getting some sleep, maybe. Paul didn't look very comfortable the other day holding the baby, I've got to say. He looked like he was afraid of dropping it. Maybe technical, says Tony. Don't know what that's to. Bit more context, Tony. That would be great. And then Tony's saying hi to Kathy. I'm going to call you Kathy forever now, by the way, just so you know. And then this is Lisa's following me on TikTok. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've faced a few of these specifically, and my kind of go-to technique is to do kind of regular highlights, and then I break the base in between.
Yeah.
So that's my kind of way around it, because I hate putting foils in. I don't want to put in that many foils if I can get away with it. I just don't like the way that many foils looks personally, more than anything. So I tend to then kind of go in, do a regular set of highlights, and then at the backwash, break the base or bump the base, dependent on, you know, people's preference on the name. I would then go in and bump the base and lift it further to kind of soften down the contrast between the natural and the highlights. That's kind of my kind of way around it as well, to not spend too much time highlighting. I mean, yeah, you're way faster than me, Paul. I'd never have got that done in an hour. So that's interesting. So if you've got any questions, guys, then definitely throw them out at us. We'd love to hear what you want to talk about, anything, new problems that you've faced. You know, got a question in this week about improving your one length haircuts. You know, great question. Wanted to get a much cleaner one length line in, and so there was kind of two ways around it. I'll give one, and then Paul might be able to give you some tips on cleaner one lengths. I know that the lady that asked some of the questions watching this now, but the thing that I always do is, in my first horizontal section, I take it just under the occipital bone, and I cut it 1 centimeter shorter than the desired length, and then I cut everything then with the neutral head position to 1 centimeter past the first line that I cut. And then when I dry the hair, everything shrinks to meet that point, and then you don't get any graduation. Do you have any other tips for that, mate?
Yeah. But sorry, I was just so Tony, who is watching, she just messaged me on Instagram saying, is the live happening tonight? Because she can't see anything. So I'm just, can all you guys see us? Hopefully you can. Tony's just commenting back now. I just said, can you hear us? But if you could just let us know in the comments, just the reminder screen. Oh no, it's on. Try let me just message back, and I'll say try refreshing.
And I'll have a little read while we're here. Tony, are we on here, Lisa, or is this last week's and another link? Oh, I see. Yeah, it's in the comments here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, your postings are coming through. Maybe go off and come back and see if that helps. That's well said, Lisa. Karen J, do you and others use Olaplex or similar systems with all bleach work? Yeah, so I currently use Olaplex. I used to use the pH bonder from Redken until it was discontinued. I've also used Innerlux, and Paul with his Joico uses the 4-step
and defy damage.
Defy damage, yeah, for the Plex, you know, treatment. So I'm sure you've used Olaplex, but as you put that as your first one, having used others, I haven't actually used the one that Paul uses yet, although I will be very soon. I know quite a lot about these products chemically, and you know what is achievable and what is not achievable based on pure what's the word I'm looking for, chemistry, and they're all in a similar ballpark, because it's very different. It's very difficult for them not to be, based on the science. So I like Innerlux. It works very well. I get similar results to Olaplex. I get similar results to pH bonder. Olaplex does make the hair feel a bit softer, but I always wonder if that's a bit of an artificial softening feel. How about you, Paul? Give us your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the biggest things for me, and we had a little bit of negativity as well. So we were the first salon in the whole of UK to have Olaplex 1, 2, and 3. So I just randomly started talking to this lady who worked for Olaplex America, and she shipped it all over from America to me, step 1, 2, and 3, before number 3 was actually in the UK. So we had a really good run with it. Um, to For me, I never seen the hype. If I'm totally honest, I understood that it made the hair look really shiny and healthy, but back then when it was with what I was using, we were having to bump up the level of peroxide, so we were already having to use a stronger developer. I know the Olaplex brought it back down, but I never really seen this sort of wow factor, if I'm honest. Like saying the celebrities, the Kardashians and all that were like, oh my god, I need Olaplex. I need Olaplex to go from black to blonde, when realistically they were probably just using it as a standalone treatment because they were wearing wigs. That's one of the biggest things that I was.
You're also getting paid for it. I mean, the woman that did that works for Redken, and she was quite open about how much breakage there was, and how it took 2 full days.
Yeah, what Tracy?
Yeah, not Tracy. Tracy didn't do it.
Right.
Another stylist, US Redken artist.
Right.
And because Tracy's an ambassador rather than Redken artist. And it took 2 full days to do. The hair was pretty broken afterwards. There was lots of damage, and they cut 5 inches off her hair.
And that's
they don't talk about that afterwards.
Well, no, they didn't. It was just like, look at this, it's fantastic. And I never seen the actual benefit, which is why I hopped about. I went to Innerlux. I used Innerlux. And then when I was with Redken, we had pH Bonder, so I used pH Bonder. And to be honest, I never really seen any major, except for really.
The benefit is major, though, do you? I've never thought the benefits were miracle standard.
No. I find when it was supposed to be perceived, though.
Yeah, of course, but that was marketing. I feel like from a really honest perspective, just me to you guys. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, as you'd imagine, and when I watch American YouTube videos, they talk about Olaplex like it's this miracle.
Yeah,
it does everything, kind of product, and it's just not that. It's great. It's fantastic, but it's not a miracle. It does make the hair feel softer, but I don't know if that's an artificial thing. I do notice the difference, but I don't, because of the nature of it. We've got the hydrogen bonds and disulfide bonds in the hair. You physically cannot replace them, no matter what nobody says. There's no way of replacing them. All that they can do is bond together the disulfide and hydrogen bonds that have been separated. And the only way you can bond those together is with an ionized bond. Now, an ionized bond is stronger than a hydrogen bond and a disulfide bond linked together in the first place. But the bond that we add into the hair is dissolved with water. And that's why number 3 is so important. The ionized bond breaks down every time you wash it, every time it gets wet. And so when you use number 3, you rebuild those bonds back into the hair, and the hair retain. But if you don't continue with number 3, the bonds break down and the damage will appear anyway. The breakage that you've created will appear anyway. And that's a fact. And actually, I did on my Life of Hair Reviews channel a video about Olaplex number 3, and Olaplex themselves commented, and they didn't dispute any of that. And I talked about all of that in the video. All that they mentioned is that if you use Olaplex number 3, you can lightly shampoo prior to applying Olaplex number 3, which is something that I mentioned in the video, that you should wet the hair and then apply it. And they said you can lightly shampoo it. But they didn't dispute the facts. Because the facts are you can't put hydrogen bonds and disulfide bonds back into the hair.
Yeah.
So I think there's a misconception that is what you're doing, and you can't reduce the breakage. The breakage will happen. you can reduce, and this is the real, and listen to the marketing blurb, you can reduce the effects of breakage by 75%. And that is something that you'll hear them say. And I've been to live events where I've seen their European artists talking about, you know, the product and using the wrong terminology and selling a fake perception of it, you know, prevents the hair breaking by 75%. So really think about that, guys, when we are talking about bonders to our clients. Any bonder, really, because the bonder that they're putting back in, any bonder, any Plex product is putting back in a bond, just not the bonds that we have naturally. So we do need some maintenance of those bonds that we replace. They won't just last for 6 to 8 weeks in between the appointments. They just won't.
And
do you have a follow-up? Do you have a follow-up, mate, in your lot? You know, do you have a follow-up Plex bonder thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's defy damage.
Defy damage, yeah.
Yeah, so we use defy damage, but to be honest, defy damage will stop damage happening. That's fundamentals. So it will stop damage happening by what you just said, making sure the bonds are protected, and if there's any breakage in the bonds, bond them together and make them stronger. But then you've got number 2. So like Olaplex number 1 and number 2, you have number 2, which is at the basin where we rinse it. It's like a treatment as such. And then you've got the aftercare, which is the shampoo, conditioner, mask, and the heat protector serum. Cream serum sort of thing. But 4-step, if anybody has any inkling of damage, breakage, we use 4-step. We'll go in with 4-step because I don't know, like obviously a lot of you heard us talking about it before, but the 4 steps to it only need 5 minutes. So you've got a cleanser, cuticle sealer, a penetrative treatment, and then a hydration part to it. So we're actually working on every single part. We're opening up the cuticle, then we're slamming it shut, and then we're using the penetrating treatment to go through the cuticle to help rebond it. And then we're adding that much needed moisture at the very end to make it really nice, soft and shiny. But with that, you can use steps 2 and 3 up to 3 times to sort of just slam it shut, rebuild it, slam it shut, rebuild it, and reconstruct it. But it's all down to, with the whole Plex thing, marketing was the whole thing that they were sort of saying it was going to be this magic formula. And that's what I really hate when you get people say, oh, like people won't come to our salon, say, because we don't use Olaplex. And it's like, I'm glad when I grab the phone, because then I can say, oh, like, what do you love about Olaplex? Oh, I just love that I know my bonds are going to be rebuilt, and I know this and this and this. It's like, okay, let me just stop you, and then I'll go into it. I said, do you want to hear the technical side of it? Because I can tell you everything about that. And then we go into it, and then they start to realize about, oh, it's marketing, and we've got 2. So have you ever had a 4-step, which your hair will feel like virgin hair again as such? And then we can actually protect your bonds by using defy damage. And that's when their ears start to prick up. Olaplex is like, well, it's the first Plex to become a marketing material. If the thing with Joico is they've always had quadramine complex in all of their products, in their hairsprays, in their lotions, in their shampoos, in their colors, but it was just never marketed.
That's a lanolin. That's a lanolin product, isn't it? That's from lamb's wool.
That is, yeah. That's the part which is missing, obviously the amino chain.
Yeah.
That the hair's lost or missing.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Love it. So
we've got a few questions.
Very long answer to that one question. And just to recap, yes, we do use bonders.
Yeah.
But you know, we've used a lot of bonders. Paul's used a lot, but I've used a lot of bonders. I feel they're all much for muchness to a greater degree. They're all very good. They're not miracle workers. They're not miracle workers, but they are good, and they don't necessarily tick all the boxes. Now, I don't always use them. Is probably to answer that question a bit more concisely. I don't always use them based on the fact that I find that if I'm being very careful and very precise, and I'm not overlapping, I'm not doing extreme color work, I'm not working on very sensitized hair, I don't tend to use them. I will advocate high quality home care and keep their hair in good condition that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, isn't it? It's like if your application is spot on and you're just going to be touching that regrowth, because with defy damage, we wouldn't be spraying it on the root because it will go on the scalp, and it could, because the pH level's higher, it could cause a little bit of aggravation. So as long as your application is spot on, then yeah, I wouldn't be using defy damage, Olaplex, Inalux in every service. To be honest, it's only if it needs it.
Yeah. I mean, I know
But,
that some people advocate, you hear it on YouTube. Some people advocate, everybody needs it, prevention is better than the cure. I'm still preventing it. I'm still sending them away with the appropriate strengthening Redkin products as I use it, but the cat treatment, or whatever it is. But I'm not, I'm not, I'm not so bothered about it if it's going to be, well executed service that's not on damaged hair.
yeah.
Right, Kerry. So this salon uses Redkin color gels. They put a few different levels and shades to tone. Don't understand why the different levels. So this salon uses Redkin color gels. They put a few different levels and shades to tone. Don't understand why the different. So Kerry, just to clear that up, put this down in the comment section. We'll get back to this question in a second. Are they using color gels to tone with and shades EQ simultaneously at the same time? And when you say, are they using different tones? Are they using different tones on one head? Just, so I can clarify and give you a very concise answer.
Yeah.
Christos, is there any way to have a 1 to 2 week permanent straight hair without using a long-term Brazilian blow dry? Yeah, I don't. If you use this product, Paul, it's Jez's product.
Kera Straight.
Kera Straight. Yeah. It's not a proper Brazilian long-term blow dry. It's a smoothing treatment called Kera Straight. I know there's a few others out there. They will help to smooth out. Joyco, do they have a smoothing treatment?
No, not a smoothing treatment.
Not
but
a smoothing
one of
treatment.
the things, again, I'll just bring the question back up, is permanent straight hair. I mean, talking about long-term Brazilian treatments as well, Kera Straight, when I was speaking to Jez, he sort of admits that he wishes he sort of changed. It wasn't Kera Straight, doesn't he, sometimes?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they don't make the hair permanently straight unless their hair is probably 80% straight anyway. Whereas the people who are having these Brazilian blow dries, keratin blow dries, their hair is either really frizzy or curly. And I've never seen one yet which will give permanently straight hair, poker straight hair, without a little bit of work. I always sort of market them or describe them to a client as it will take 85% of styling need away from you. I think that's the safest way to market it.
No, that's a fair way of describing it. Good stuff. What's the next one? I've never done break the base. I would like to try this on a client who has level 5 and find the contrast with her natural blonde too much. So Angela, here's the tips, and for everybody that's interested in breaking the base or bumping the base, if you're gonna bump the base, you pretty much follow the same rules throughout. Obviously, you've done blonde highlights, yeah. So you're going to bump the base with a level 9 or a level 10, dependent on what you're going to tone with. So you're only looking for one level of lift, maybe 1.5. You're not looking for 2 levels of lift. You'll expose too much undertone. So you're going to use 10 or 20 volume. I would recommend 10 and let a little lift slower. And you're going to use like a 9 natural ash or a 9 blue ash or an ash blue. And you don't want to lift your highlights to white if you can avoid it. If you lift your highlights to a 9, they're going to get lifted actually in the base breaking process a little bit further. So if you lift them to like pale yellow or yellow, Then when you bump the base, you'll get a little bit of tone, bit of lift, bit of deposit, all simultaneously on the existing highlights. And then obviously everything's a lot more kind of succinct and brought together. I mean, I've done it in several videos now to show the different ways of doing it. I've actually got several more videos in slightly different ways of doing it that I will share whenever the wind blows in that direction. I don't want to keep talking about the same thing over and over again. But you know, there are a lot of ways of doing it, but that is the best way to try it. A natural ash is probably the most sensible one to start with, but you have to watch it. And one level of lift is difficult to spot when the hair is wet.
Yeah.
But basically, if you're looking at that level 5 hair and you're starting to see any kind of change, and you have to be really watching, it's time to take it off. Because if you leave it on too long, you'll start to expose more and more undertone and more warmth, and then you really, so it's a technical one. You have to be watching it. I do it all the time in the salon, you know, for many different reasons. Here's the hot tip though: start on the hairline, practice on someone's hairline, and it will just blend away any foil marks, you know, the horizontal or diagonal foil marks that you can create. And you can just tap on the hairline and just practice on the hairline, because then if you're just doing the hairline and the hairline's a bit more blended, and you start to get your head into it. And that is how I started. So I started blending away people's hairlines, because you know, as well, I started doing it back when I wasn't a massively proficient foiler. I sort of neglected foiling, really. I didn't color hair for the first 6 years of my career. And then I started coloring hair, but I wasn't very proficient at foils. And I started to do it to make my foils look more seamless. So I was only doing the hairlines and just painting on at the backwash and watching it. And then I just expanded it as time went on. I saw other people doing it, and yeah, that's how it worked out. Do you ever do it, Paul?
No, I don't, mate.
No.
When I was with Red Ken, we had the base breakers,
Yeah.
and with Joico, we have the base breakers as well. And no, I mean, we've got the cool and you've got the warm. The warm is something that always scared the natural in Joico.
Natural, yeah.
But no, I don't. And it's something I always thought, oh, I'll get around to trying that. And I just never did.
I mean, if you can use a base breaker product from Joico or Redkin, it does take a lot of the drama out of it, because it's with 10 volume. It's 5 minutes processing time. You just whack it on as quickly as you can, and you just keep an eye on it. I mean, I do bend the rules. I use base breaker from Redkin, and I really bend the rules with that product. I mean, like, seriously bend the rules, especially on Asian hair that I'm bleaching. I don't know if you want to, if you ever want to give this one a go, Paul, but say you're bleaching Asian hair, and when they come in, base breaker their hair straight off the block.
Yeah.
Lift their hair, do it with 20 volume, leave it on 10, 12 minutes. Lift their hair 3 levels sometimes before you go in, and then bleach the hair, and you can get it white.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely a way of using base breaker. And because you can overlap the ends, you don't have to use cool, just use natural. You don't need to worry about it going really warm. And it makes taking Asian hair white so easy.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, it's
Great
a good way of using it.
Lisa, I won some Redken products at the weekend from the Hair Love live event. Amazing.
Ooh, the Hair Love live event. I didn't hear about that. What's that then?
Yeah, what was it? Let us know.
Let us know, Lisa. Love that. We've got Aoife in the house. Hi all. James, I've taken your advice about adding water to my bleach, but won't damp hair cause the same alkaline issues and additional damage? Yes, yeah. Applying any color to wet hair increases the alkalinity, but it's the fact that the product that you've created is less alkaline than mixing water and bleach together. So yeah, by the time you put it on the head, it will slightly increase the alkalinity, but not to the same extent as if you mix bleach and water together.
Cool. And also, can you guys talk about scissor options? What length blade for what, or is it all preference?
I've got a tip on this one.
Go on in.
Well, I think we talked about this before, right? So if I go like that, There you go. You can see daylight, or you can see the wall behind my fingers, right? Now, not so if you look between your fingers now and you can see daylight at the bottom of your fingers, then your scissor blade can only be to the point at which you can see daylight. Because if you've got daylight through there, the scissor tension changes, the hair tension, changes. And so you should only cut to the point at which you can hold it at the same tension. And you said you cross your finger, you push down with your thumb, don't you, Paul? You said when we talked about this.
I mean, I haven't got much daylight between there.
No.
But then I sometimes do. So there's a tiny little gap.
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it. Yeah.
And then I'll do that.
Yeah, I don't know if that works for me. I mean, it does close it down a bit, but I mean, mine is. I've got a real gap in there.
Yeah,
it's my piano's playing fingers, Paul. But like, look, even if I push it, it barely goes away. So so that's how. So you get your scissor. This is a 6-inch scissor, and you put it on your hand, and wherever the blade. I've got quite long fingers. I've got quite big hands. Like I wear like extra large gloves, just to give you an idea. At that point is where the scissor stops. So I can't. Even these are a bit long. 5.5 are my preference in size. Don't get me wrong, though, ladies and gents. It's not a hard and fast science. It's just a rule of thumb that not many people talk about.
Yeah.
But I use, if I'm barbering, if I'm scissor over combing, 6.5, 7-inch scissors, no dramas.
Same. But precision work, I'll go in with 5.5 or maybe a 6. I'd push it to.
Yeah, but I'm 5 or 5.5 for precision work. I've actually got 5.3-inch scissors right now, to be pedantic, which are Casio the XP 5.3. I've got a 5.5-inch pair of Casio Millenniums. I've got a 6.5-inch pair of Passion scissors or something like that, one of those brands. And I've got a pair of 5-inch wings. Probably wings. Oh, I've got a 6-inch pair. I've got a 6-inch pair of wings as well. The wings are my favorite by far. The 5 and the 6-inch wings are like the absolute. Sorry, my cat just dug her claws into my knee. The 5 and the 6-inch wings are my absolute go-to scissor combination. Scissor over comb and precision haircutting all day long. So yeah, I mean, but I've been using them for many, many years.
Nice.
Ginny Gray says she'll catch up tomorrow. Nice team. Tina has been an absolute hero, by the way, in the competition. So she has entered in every which human way possible. So well done, Tina. Doesn't mean she'll win, though, guys. She still just gets extra draws in the raffle. Sound Services in Ireland doesn't stock Joico. Would love to try.
You won't find it cash and carry. So they're still quite direct. But in Ireland, you've got Expert, and Expert are the stockists of Joico in Ireland. So let me know if you've heard this in the comments, and if you want to know more information, just message me on Instagram, and I can put you in contact with them. But there's also another one. So I was about to ask if you can get Joico in Northern Ireland. You can, because I've got a lot of people. Well, a lot of the artistic team live in Ireland. So you've got David Murray. You've got Katrina Kelly, you've got Denise Walsh, you've got then you've got a lot of the educators as well. So yeah, in Ireland, Joico is massive, but you've just got to find it. So Expert Professional in Ireland, they've got a real big academy as well, where we do a lot of education sessions with Joico. So yeah, it's there. Tony Candy, I have 2 highlights on Afro Hair Monday. Any advice, guys? But first, Tony messaged me earlier, and she says she's been, I think she got crowned Student of the Year by a tutor, which is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice work, Tony.
Definitely.
High five.
But highlights on Afro Hair on Monday. Any advice?
my cat is shedding. That's the advice I'm going to give her right now. It's springtime. Like my cat is shedding so much. I'm in a halo of fluff right now.
But
I've got some advice for this, by the way. Just back on topic. If you want to see when the hair's worn in afro style, okay, and if you want to see the texture of what you're creating in the hair, you want to see different curl types, you need to go heavier with the weaves. Remember this: it lifts fast, it breaks easily, it's more porous, and you have to be a little bit heavier with your application to really create the texture. So you need a chunkier weave. But when I say chunky, obviously if you want maximum lift, don't dig your section too deep, because you're then not going to get the clean lift off the hair. You're going to end up with yellowy orangey results. So when I say chunky, I mean make sure that you're cutting your sections reasonably fine and making each like a skip slice. I've got a video about that. If you go to after this live, go or whenever you've got time, go over to YouTube search engine, just put the life of hair in the search engine and then put highlights. I've got umpteen videos on there, and one of them's about creating texture, and that would be the way that I would go about doing afro hair. Because remember, when the hair is all clumped together or it's curly, that precision isn't necessarily the root of a good result. What you want to do is define the curls, get the curls to look defined. So you need to go heavier. Anything to add, mate?
yeah, what I tend to do is I won't go in with a weave, to be honest. A lot of the time I will section, but I'll look for the nicest of curls, I suppose, and I'll pull them out individually and I'll be colouring them.
Are you curlist, Paul? Are you curlist?
I'm curlist, yeah. those weak little curls.
I love this. I was like looking at his curls, like, nah, you ain't worth colouring, mate.
Yeah, like.
Love that. That's good stuff.
Christos did ask, could you write down the product? And I did here. It's Kerry, which to Kerry, customers say
lifted
has
to
lifted
a 6.
Oh.
The colour gels toner they mixed was a 6 and a 10. They put it all over the hair. I can't understand why they put a 6 and a 10. Customer lifted to a level 6. Okay, cool. So I'm just wondering what they lifted from. There is a woman in America, and I think there's a few others, who have this kind of foolproof, way of mixing color. So rather than following the obvious traditional route, she'll say use a bit of 10 and a bit of 6. I don't truly understand it. Some people have tried to explain it to me. It doesn't make sense to me. If I can remember her name, Kerry, I will message you on Instagram. She kind of owns this thing where you mix these random colors together. I did an episode a while ago where I talked about neutralizing tone, and so many people jumped in the comment section with talking about this woman from America on her Instagram, but I can't remember her name right now, so I can't help you with that. But if you want to know about that, then send me a message on Instagram, anybody that wants to know about that, and I will try and find out her name for you. But yeah, I don't know the logic, or I don't get the logic of it. It's not logical to me. Does that make sense?
I mean, one of the things I've done in the past, and this is something I do quite a bit, which is on these lines. So I've had people come in where they're, say, a level 4, but they don't like the warmth that's coming through. So I'll go in with, I had this one lady who was so just fed up with her hair color. She'd been all the way around these salons and they couldn't remove the warmth. They were adding too much depth, making it darker. And I just went in with a level 9, a 9 NA. This was when I was Redken. And she was like, this is the best hair color she's ever had, because there was no deposit of depth. It was just to literally neutralize the tone. And with that, if it lifted to a level 6, so you're looking at an orange yellow, maybe, you've got a level 6. It all depends on tonal value with what they were using, I would say. So level 6, yes, but why the level 10? The level 6 could have been the predominantly the color, and they didn't want to drop the 6 below a 6, so they wanted to, maybe it was teetering at a level 6.5 or a 7. The level 6 might have been, say, a 6 natural, but then the level 10 might have been a natural ash or a violet, or like a silver blue, to try and neutralize as much warmth as possible without dropping the level. That's what I would get from it.
The other thing is lighter colors tend to be more alkaline, just as a random thought out there.
Yeah.
So lighter colors, the higher, so the extra alkalinity would obviously allow for more lift. But yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not 100% sure. I know where you're working, Kerry. I mean, I could always just ask them.
Yeah.
No, oh, by the way, Kerry, listen, and not, you know, I won't do that. I really won't do that. Don't worry. But I know the people who you're working with, and I would guarantee if you ask them directly, no question would be a silly question. You know, maybe ask, you know, Wes. I know Lewis has left, but you know, those guys, or even Vicky, you know, I know that they won't think that that's a silly question. I think they would appreciate you asking them.
Oh, is it Voodoo?
Yeah, it's Voodoo. Yeah. Would
Natalie's one of my girls. She works in the Oundle salon. Hey, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie. Yeah,
I'd love to
give
try
it a
the
whirl.
base. Yeah, we'll
You've
get
got
them
the
in.
product. If you've got an actual base breaker product, I mean, there's no, you know, I mean, you're taking all the jeopardy out of it. You know, I've learned to do it without base breaker, and the only reason I learned to do it without base breaker is because they threatened to discontinue it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and they took it away for a while. So I was like, holy moly, I'll do that. I'm doing like 10 base breakers a week. I'm like,
Yeah, I know
I'm
another
now gonna
tip.
have to learn. Huh?
I know another tip with it as well. So when you've done, say, you've got some highlights in your hair, but you've put an all over color, or you put a root melt on, and you don't want that really sort of hard, fake looking hairline, you can put high lift over it with only like 10 volt.
Yeah.
And it just breaks down that sort of hardness to the root area. I
Yeah.
know I've done that on like hairlines where it's a little bit finer, and it just softens off through there. So that's another way that I've done.
Breaking the hairline.
Breaking
Don't
the
say that
hairline,
to your client.
just taking their hairline back.
Natalie's going to, I'm just going to break your hairline. Paul told me to do it.
Yeah. 60 volt, high lift.
It was a 3-day free event, hair tutorials, well-being classes, color classes I found on Instagram, run by Elizabeth Fay. Interesting. I know Elizabeth, not personally, but I know her stuff, and I didn't see any of that. So interesting. Wow, cool. That's nice. We should do something like that, Paul. We should have a 3-day event.
We will.
We will. Yeah, we will. We've got lots of plans. Don't worry. We're joking, but we're not. Hello, everyone. I've been hearing a lot about a lot of mixed opinions about lift being in the tube rather than the developer. Please, can you comment? It is 1,000,000% in the tube, because all peroxide is acidic, all of it. So, and you cannot lift hair with, well, yeah, okay, you can lift hair with acidity, but it gets very uncontrollable. Whereas alkaline, you can get a controlled amount of lift, because it lifts from the minute that the hair gets past a pH of a 7. So once it gets stronger than water, starts to lift. So it is, and I can guarantee you, I know some absolutely top-notch chemists. In fact, I'm regularly in contact with the guy who invented Shades EQ, and it is in the tube. So you can now stand on the rooftops and scream that with absolute conviction that the lift is in the tube always. It's a bit like with bleach, the lift is in the powder. Wow, thank you. Some say it's a combination of both. One won't work without the other unless the hair is wet. So if you put tint onto wet hair, you will get some color deposit or lift or both, because the hair is pH 4.5 to 5.5, and you have made the hair more alkaline than its natural state by taking it to a 7 by making it wet. If you put raw tint onto that hair at that point and the cuticles are open, you will get some color deposit. I mean, what that would look like, the manufacturer wouldn't guarantee the result, but you would get some color deposit. That's like if you put a direct dye, a crazy color, onto wet hair, you will get more color deposition onto the hair because the cuticles are open, compared to if the cuticles are closed at 4.5 to 5.5 or more closed, depending on the condition of the hair and the porosity. But yeah, if the hair is wet, then you will get some color added into the hair. But you do need both to get the maximum results.
Cool. And Kerry said yes, it was, Paul. So I'm taking that was from
Voodoo.
where like the 6N base with some level 10 in there to neutralize. I take it was that. Tony, I just bought some colors off from Amazon. They're in tubes, red, blue, and purple. I'll show you when it's done. What are they?
I think they're like direct dyes. I think they're like direct dyes, aren't they?
Yeah. Can't wait to see it.
Wow, cool.
Wes has
left.
So
sad. He says hello, James. Yeah, I really like Wes and Lewis. They're great guys, really great. I saw he'd left. LOL, I have to start all over. Don't start all over. It's not that
just
much.
Join us every week.
Just join us every week. We're full of random facts.
Yeah.
We're full of random facts. Well, we'll see you next week for another episode then. Well, we're coming up to the hour. We've run out of questions, so we'll call it a night, I think, hey, Paul?
Yeah, there's 20 people in here still. So just to reiterate about the competition, head over to any of our community tabs, read the rules. Not last week's, week before. No, last week's live. Just comment below it. If you've subscribed to both channels, say subscribe, then another comment, subscribed. If you've liked the video, another comment, liked. If you've commented, you've commented, because what we're going to do is you're going to have more chances the more you comment in the comments, because we're going to use this random generator that goes through all of the comments and it just stops on a person, and then that's the winner. So you think about it, if you've got your name in there all the time, you're going to have a much higher ratio chance of winning.
Yeah, super easy. Just leave a comment in any one of the lives. Good stuff. Thank you. Subscribe, shared, liked. Lovely, Tony. Thank you very much. There's a couple of things that just popped up on here. Tina Gray. See again at college, we were told we put crazy color onto dry hair, it would be more vibrant. I mean, it would be more vibrant the lighter your hair that you put it onto, but it would not be more vibrant onto dry. It would be longer lasting. The actual whether it's wet or dry, it wouldn't be any more vibrant than the other. It's the lightness that you put it onto. So if it's blonde, it's going to be really vibrant. If it's dark brown, it's going to be more subdued. But if you put it onto wet hair and the cuticles are open, the color will go in deeper into the hair because the cuticles are already raised. A bit like when you put peroxide into color, and then obviously the alkalinity and the peroxide work and they create simple bleach, and it lifts the cuticles and it allows the tint to go into the hair. The water does this, a job of opening the cuticles just a little bit, and it will go in a bit further. Whereas if the hair's dry, the pH is down. Unless the hair is really fragile and the cuticles are all ajar and broken and the pH is really high, you will get maximum color deposit on wet hair.
Yeah, it's just the fact, isn't it, of longevity. You put it on dry hair, you're not weakening the product. So that's the only thing that they'll be saying. It's not that's going to be more vibrant. It's just going to be that it will last longer. Angela has said, I've rubbed a little of the tint from the tube sometime on the sides when the grey is stubborn. Yeah, I mean, that again is just formulation and adding a little bit more of the pigment into the stubborn greys.
And you also change the alkalinity as well. Just for a little bit of science information. If you manufacturer's mixing ratio is 10 grams of peroxide to 10 grams of tint, that will create a certain pH. So that, remember, the tint is alkaline, the peroxide is acid. Mix them together and they create a pH. But then if you put more peroxide in, you weaken the alkalinity and make the product less effective. E.g., you might not get the color result you expected or the gray coverage you expected. But if you put more tint in, you'll get more color molecules, as Paul just said, but you'll also make the product more alkaline, and therefore you can create more damage. So you've got to weigh up what. So obviously, if you do everything to the manufacturer's ratio and do exactly what was just said, then you will get more gray coverage. What is the context?
Contest.
Oh, contest. Contest, yeah. The contest is to win a Hot Tools curling tong. Each month we're going to give away curling tong, scissors, combs, brushes, hair products, you name it, we're giving it away. And this month's giveaway is a curling tong by Hot Tools. So if you would like to know more about that, then head over to Paul's channel. At the top of Paul's channel, it will say the community tab next to where the playlists and the videos and all that is, right at the top, underneath the banner that he's got that says Paul Watts on it. And click on there, and there's all the ways that you can enter to get yourself into the draw.
Cool. And I just see like Lisa Lewis every week puts liked, shared in here. So on this live chat, that is what you do, but you've got to go over to the comments on last week's video. So last Wednesday's video, just do exactly like you've done, Lisa, but instead of the live chat, just do it in the comments. And everybody, if you want to enter, whatever you've done by sharing the video, subscribing to the channel, liking the videos, being here, subscribing to us both, put them all in individual comments, because it will give you a much higher chance of winning. So rather than just doing it in the live chat here, because this won't get picked up by the software, it has to be below a non-live video.
Yeah,
the video was live, but now it's not. We're live now on this video.
Last week's video, the 12th of May, that was on my channel.
Yeah,
is the video.
Cool.
Okay.
Tony says thank you, James, for the praise on the masterclass. Everyone was shocked in the salon. Amazing.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Tony, I did a masterclass for Lee Stafford Education on Monday, and give Tony a big shout out for joining in every single week. And as we shout out any one of you guys who join every single week, but yeah, must have caught some of your colleagues off guard. Kerry, appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Does the same work for bleach, add more developer and lose sometimes weakens light. Exactly, Natalie. In fact, I've got a whole video on this about why you should use scales on my YouTube channel. If you want to go and check that out, I'm holding a pair of scales in front of me looking furious. But yes, it works exactly the same.
Yeah, I bang on about this all the time. Whenever I see any of them mixing lightener or bleach without scales, I'm just like, oh my God. Just because we're mixed into formulation. Some people like a more like a liquid bleach, some like it thicker, but to get the optimum lift, if you mix it to manufacturer's instructions, whether it is 1:2, 2:1, 3:1, depending on the manufacturer's instructions, you can make it slightly more looser or thicker, but it has to be with manufacturer's instructions. Anywhere in the world, yes. Anywhere in the world, we will send the tongue off.
We will post it anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you live in South America.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm right.
We have a very reliable pigeon, so we will get it to you.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm thinking South America, but it could be North America. I'm feeling the American vibes with the name. I'm feeling
Felicia San Pedro. Yeah, like
San Pedro. I'm
Mexicana.
feeling like Mexican, Peruvian. I don't know, somewhere like that. Venezuelan. Anyway, good stuff.
Where's Logan Paul just moved to?
Don't know.
Oh, Puerto Rico.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. So let's see. Puerto Rico, I'm going for.
Okay.
But yeah, we're on James's channel next Wednesday. I'm going to be doing a haircut. So if you guys, we'll do it on our community tabs. Canada.
Oh. Wrong.
We were way off.
we were very far south from Canada. No, good stuff.
But yeah, next week on James's channel, I'm doing a haircut. So just let us know what you want to see from the haircut. Do you want it long? Do you want it short? Do you want it precise? Do you want not a pixie? We've already done a pixie. Trend led. We've done shags. We've done mullets. James did a mullet last week. So yeah, let us know what you want us to do. If there's anything really bothering you in salon, or if you're coming up to qualifiers, there's something you really want to learn with a haircut, then we'll do it. But that's
we'll have a community post on each of our channels. Again, we'll keep drawing you to our community tab, but it's the best way of us communicating with you on YouTube. So please familiarize yourself with the community tab if you don't know where it is yet. So good.
Hey, Belinda. So just watching Emily Canham talking you up, Paul. What was that on? Oh, is that her latest video? Let us know quickly, because we're gonna go. But yeah, Emily Canham. I've been doing Emily's hair for around about 7-8 years now. But yeah, she's obviously blown up on YouTube. If any of you want to see lifestyle makeup vlogger, head over to Emily Canham's channel, because I'll do her hair, but she's a lovely girl as well. Can you do a short bob? The one posted on Instagram, please. So yeah, on the community tab, we'll do like short bob. We will put some options, then you guys can go and vote, Tony. So that will go up and just click on what you want to vote for. And Belinda says, yup. Cool. Mate,
nice.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Belinda. Well, as always, guys, it's always a pleasure to hang out with you on our Wednesday evenings. And as Paul said, we will be back next week on my channel, 9 p.m. BST, or whatever that is, wherever you are in the world. And we really look forward to hanging out with you again. And I'll be sitting right here doing my comparing job next week. And Paul will be throwing up some shapes. Italian first name. Close, haha. Filipino last name. Wow. Okay, that's an interesting film. I would have never have thought Filipino last name. No. Thank you very much for that, guys. So yeah, wonderful stuff. Thank you for everybody's comments tonight. Thank you for your participation. Do enter the competition so you can have a chance to win the Hot Tools Gold Series Tong. And until next time, look after yourself. Have a good week. Ciao.
Thank you.